Thanks for tuning in. You're listening to the best animated shows ever, so far, with MC and Troy.
I'm Troy.
And I'm MC. And this is the best animated shows ever. So far. Where we watch, discuss, and rank every animated show ever. Eventually.
And eventually, we get through the introduction to our show. Eventually. MC. We watch more Gargoyles, and I have thoughts and feelings and opinions and perspectives. But as you pointed out when we started recording, what's really important about episode 2 of Gargoyles is that Riker showed up. So let's talk about the cast. First off, there's Riker. Jonathan Frakes plays David Xanatos, which is a baller last name. It's very good. And, he's Jonathan Frakes. He's Riker. And what do you want? That's who he is. Come on.
Well, I just heard his voice the whole time, but with what he was saying a lot of the time, I'm like, wait, is this guy a good guy?
Oh, so much. Is this a good guy or a bad guy? As soon as he showed up on screen and I saw his dumb face, which looks exactly like Jonathan Frakes, I was like, oh, you're a villain. And I don't remember anything specific, but I am certain that he is a bad guy.
Yeah.
I am absolutely certain of it. So Jonathan Frakes, best known for playing Riker. Commander William Riker, and also Thomas Riker on Star Trek The Next Generation. He has also done some voice work, though. He has been on Family Guy as himself, Jonathan Frakes, and also as Commander William Riker. So I guess that barely counts. But don't worry, because he's also been on Futurama as Jonathan Frakes' head. But he's also been in I think a VHS video game called Star Trek Final Unity, where he played Commander William Riker. He's done some stuff, MC. So he has been on Adventure Time, weirdly, where he played adult Finn. Apparently there was an episode where Finn grew up and got chest hair and a beard, and he was voiced by Riker, which I think is very, very good. Excuse me, voiced by Frakes. His name is Frakes, not Riker. He's also been in the Guardians of the Galaxy animated show, where he played Jason, J''S-O-N, which I believe is the father of Star-Lord in the comic book and cartoon world. I think that's correct. And he's been on the Superhero Squad, where he played the High Evolutionary, which I feel like is just something he did for fun. I feel like Frakes, because he's a pretty well-known actor, but he's also a very successful director. So I think that he just does voice acting for fun. This will be good. Maybe that wasn't the case back when he was on Gargoyles, though. He actually plays a total of 4 different characters across the Gargoyles franchise. He plays David Xanatos, and then in something called Gargoyles: The Goliath Chronicles, which I think is a straight-to-TV movie, he plays David Xanatos and also a guy named Dave. Presumably no relation. But he also plays on the TV show Coyote, which is a golden android, because that's a thing that happens in this show. And a dude named Alexander Fox, who appears to be like Lex Luthor, but with a metal plate over his eye. And I don't remember anything about Alexander Fox, except for, again, as soon as I saw the picture, I had like nostalgic gut punch of I know that face.
it's really weird about this show is I can't remember specific things about it, just that I enjoyed watching it and
Mm-hmm.
like seeing all these like gargoyles swooping out of the sky. Like
Yeah,
I don't really remember any of the humans in the show.
yeah, he's it's weird. Uh, there's so much about this show that is, you know, it's familiar but not specific. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, that thing, but I couldn't have remembered it beforehand. I don't know. It's a very strange show in that regard because I have so much nostalgia for it and yet don't know so much about it.
Yeah.
All right, that's enough time spent on Riker. Let's get away from like our big celebrity actors who are just like picking up a paycheck with their work on this animated television show and talk about Marina Sirtis. Is the voice of Goliath's one true love and is also Deanna Troi from Star Trek: The Next Generation, and also she doesn't do much voice acting. Goliath is played by a gentleman by the name of Keith David. You know him, you love him as Dr. Facilier in Princess and the Frog. He's the bad guy, the like voodoo dude.
Oh, okay.
But you also know him as one of the Arbiters from the Halo series. And you're like, I don't know which specifically that is. That's okay. You don't specifically need to know who he is in that because he's also David Anderson, Captain David Anderson from the Mass Effect series, where he's the military dude who's like, what are you doing, Guardian? No, Guardian's Destiny. Shoot. But anyway, he's in the Mass Effect games. I was like, oh yeah, that's him. He's played Nick Fury before. He's played Mongol on Young Justice. He's played Spawn. This dude is all over the place. And it's usually not in like the lead roles, but he's done a bunch of voice work that like he'll show up and you'll be like, oh, it's that guy. He's look at him hanging out there. And then of course his biggest role is Goliath on Gargoyles. Oh snap, he was Black Panther once in 1994 on the Fantastic Four. I didn't even see that one. Next up on the list, we've got Jeff Bennett, who plays Brooklyn. Brooklyn is, let me just make sure I've got this right. Brooklyn is Pterodactyl Face, is what we've been calling him.
Okay.
He plays also Owen, the assistant.
The assistant, yeah.
Xanatos, and a bunch of other roles. He was clearly one of their like utility voice actors on the show.
Mm-hmm. When during this episode, when Hudson gets called Hudson for the first time, I'm like, oh, that's what his name was, right?
Yep.
And I started getting like little twinges of names, like because I'm like, oh right, they're named after things in New York.
That's very good. Yeah, I've only watched the first 3 episodes so far. I've not finished Awakening, but so far only Hudson has named himself. The others still don't have names, which is nuts. How are you gonna have this far into a series and not name characters? Let's see. Jeff Bennett has also been on Freakazoid, where he played a whole bunch of characters. The Sylvester and Tweety Mysteries, where he played a whole bunch of characters. The Timon and Pumbaa Show, where he played a whole bunch of characters. Mask, the animated series. Let's see. He was Dexter's dad on Dexter's Laboratory, and also like 83 different roles on Dexter. He was on Johnny Quest. He's Duke L'Orange on The Mighty Ducks, which is very good. Very, very good. But what's this one other little role he's got that maybe you know him from MC? Oh, he's just Johnny Bravo. You had no reaction to that, MC.
No, I was contemplating if I just should say yo mama.
Yo. He's Johnny Bravo. And also like 83 roles on Johnny Bravo as well. This dude is prolific. He's all over the place. And he's in so many things that are so very good. He's also in The Land Before Time 5, The Mysterious Island. But we won't hold that against him because he's in so many things that are so good. A lot of it Cartoon Network oriented. Oh man, he's Ace on the Powerpuff Girls? I didn't even catch that one when I was going through this earlier. So this dude, this cast Gargoyles, very good voice actor cast is what I found out today in doing my research about the voice actors in Gargoyles. Next up on the list is the voice of Broadway, which is the big dude, big belly gargoyle. Okay, big belly gargoyle he's been in the new DuckTales TV show, so that's pretty good. He's been in let's see, The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man. He played Hydro Man. Over on Young Justice, he played a character by the name of Bear. He was on Batman Brave and the Bold, where he played a couple random characters. Nobody really that you know him for. I guess maybe he doesn't have that much going for him. Transformers animated series, he's a character named Bulkhead. That seems to be a pretty popular role of his. But I'm just not finding anything else on this. Oh, what's this one? This says a character by the name of last name Star, first name Patrick.
It's Patrick Star.
Yes, from the SpongeBob. He's in this one. Why are you not more excited about this? Bill Fagerback he's
No.
in
Because
Gargoyles and he's in the SpongeBob, but he does both.
But you can hear Patrick in the fat guy's voice now.
You totally can.
Yeah,
That's true. Hudson is Ed Asner, who is more famous as an actor, a very classical actor who's on the Mary Tyler Moore Show. In animation, though, he's the old dude from Up, which I'm just gonna move right past because that's gonna make me real sad.
Cry.
Yeah. So instead, do you know what else Ed Asner did? More in our world of like the action cartoon superhero type stuff. Just throw it out there.
I want to guess Mighty Ducks.
Let's check Mighty Ducks. Not on the Mighty Ducks. He was, however, on Batman animated series as just like a random character. I don't even know who it was. But that's not what's important. Again, I'm just saving the best for last, MC, because over on a little cartoon by the name of Spider-Man in 1994, meaning the proper Spider-Man, meaning the one we grew up watching, he was J. Jonah Jameson. This is such a good cast.
Yeah.
It's nuts. And we're not done yet, because then we've got Frank Weller. Frank Weller is the voice of... Where did my notes go? Oh no. Bronx is his name, which is the dog. So Bronx the dog is played by Frank Weller. Frank Weller is one of those names that, like, as soon as I saw the name, I was like, I know this name from something. And basically, he's the name. He's the voice of every animal ever. He's Scooby-Doo.
What?
He's the little footstool. I can't even remember what show that was, but I just saw the little footstool. It's mostly Scooby-Doo, really. Let's see. In something called Nico and the Sword of Light, he was, a chicken and a couple Yetis and a big wolf-looking thing. He's been a bird. He's been Scooby-Doo some more. He's been a cat. He's been Curious George. He's been the Beagle Boys in the 2013 remaster of the DuckTales video game. He's been Scooby-Doo some more. He's been a mouse. He's Scooby-Doo. What do you want from me? He's Scooby-Doo, and he's also that other one I said that people know that I've already forgotten. Curious George. Scooby-Doo and Curious George are the same person as the dog from Gargoyles. Moving on, we've got two more to talk about, I believe. Wait, Frakes we already talked about, go away. Jeff Bennett we already talked about, go away. Keith David we already talked about, go away. Just one more, MC, and that is Sally Richardson, who is the voice of Detective Mazza in Gargoyles, and that's it.
Nothing else?
Well, on Gargoyles, she also played a character named Sally and a character named Delilah. But then that's literally it. That is all of her voice acting role. Like that's it.
Fair enough. Some people just stop.
That's all she's got. I'm gonna do a quick Google here. Let's get a quick jingle in for the Googles to look her up on the Wikipedia. and see what we've got.
There was a guy named Troy Dunham, needed some answers, how would he find them? Just Google that stuff, yeah, Google that stuff, yeah, Google that stuff all day long. Google that person, Google that place, Google it all, cause there is no place to remember any reason, remember any why. All we do know is that we're gonna die, yeah, I'm gonna die, yeah, you're gonna die, yeah, Troy, you're gonna die. Yeah, Google it.
Okay, so, Eureka. You watched Eureka, didn't you?
Yeah.
Dr. Allison Blake.
Sounds familiar.
Let me send you the picture of the thing. I guess you could probably Google it yourself, but too late. I'm literally sending you a Google search. Bam.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's the detective from Gargoyles.
Oh.
Yeah. Looks like she's done much more live action acting than she has done television action. She's oh my gosh, and she's a director too. Holy smokes. Okay. So she has directed recently. She's directed Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She's directed Luke Cage, Black Lightning, The Punisher, American Gods, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, Doom Patrol, NCIS, Castle. Holy smokes. I apologize for throwing shade. Wait, NCIS and Castle were both acting, not directing. But still, as a director, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Luke Cage, Black Lightning, The Punisher, American Gods, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, All American, Doom Patrol, The Chi, and Pearson, which I think is maybe still upcoming. Okay. Shade revoked. Shade revoked there, Sally Richardson. You are kicking butt, it turns out. It's just voice acting is not your thing, so fair enough.
Yeah. Maybe it was her foot in the door sort of thing, or
perhaps. She looks familiar. I've definitely seen her in something.
Probably definitely Eureka if you watched any of it. She's like one of the main characters.
I've only seen I think I watched the first episode of Eureka. So I mean,
She's
I guess that could
lot.
be it, but she's got a very mischievous grin that I'm like, I've seen that somewhere before. Anyway, let's talk about Gargoyles. Season 1, Episode 3. Nope, Episode 2.
No, Episode 3,
The Awakening. Yeah. Part 2, right after these messages.
Hello, you beautiful YouTube watchers. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like and subscribe. And we're back.
All right, MC. Gargoyles Season 1, Episode 2, The Awakening, Part 2, premiered on October 24th, 1994. MC. The last episode ended real sad. All gargoyles got smushed up real good, including Goliath's lady love who doesn't have a name because gargoyles are weird. And it was real sad and real tragic.
He calls her his night angel.
Oh my gosh.
Because that's yelled right at the start of this episode. That's the only reason I really remember it now.
His angel of the night. It's so
Yeah.
cute. But she dead, so anyway.
Yeah, so it's starting off at the end of the last episode with the sacking of this Scottish castle. And they're all talking, and the old guy, who we now know is named Hudson, because we discussed that earlier with the voice actors, he discovers some bows that have been tampered with. He's like, there was a traitor amongst us.
Sabotage.
Yeah, and they've destroyed our people. Let's go hunt them down.
Because Goliath's like, listen, if I'm going to get anything out of this, I'm going to get revenge. I'm going to get very specific and targeted revenge.
Yeah, and essentially he's like, there was no one else down in the rookery to the 3 other ones.
Oh yeah, the Three Stooges come up.
Yeah, and
So-
they're like, no, we were the only ones.
So Goliath's like, well, listen, if I've got anything in the world, at least I've got my revenge. And you 4, my good friends who have survived this onslaught. And then Gargdog comes running up and he's like, haha, I meant you 5. Yes, we band of 6 gargoyles will just work together to get our very specific revenge. And then they fly off.
Yeah, they fly off and we cut to the captured citizens.
Hang on. Wait a minute. MC, we have to talk about the injustice of the gargoyle species because they fly off, right? Goliath flies off. Geezer Gargoyle flies off. The little scrawny one flies off. Pterodactyl Face flies off. The big fat one flies off. And then there's Gargdog. Poor Gargdog has to run all by himself. He's like, yeah, Stud, you're just gliding. Yeah, oh, God, I'm so tired. Not fair at all. The Gargdog has to run along the ground.
He doesn't have wings.
Well, I didn't invent the gargoyles. Don't blame me for that.
No, but I'm just saying he can't fly because he doesn't have wings.
He could have a jetpack, MC. It's a fictional world. They could give him a magic carpet. They could do anything besides making him run while all of his friends are flying along. Have you ever watched, like, you know, when you're training a dog and you're like, sit, and they're like, all right, dude, I'll sit. I love it when I sit because then you're going to scratch my head. Okay. And then you're like, now stay. And the dog's like, well, okay, I guess. And then you walk away and the dog's like, where are you going? But where are you going, though? And all they want in the world is to follow you. That's what Gargoyles
I know exactly.
Going through right now.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. If that had wings, if the Garg dog had wings, do you think it would be civilized enough not to shit on someone else?
While it was flying?
Yeah.
Totally, because have you seen a dog poop? They have to, like, work their whole body into it and get in that weird scrunched up position. They're not like birds where they just let stuff loose. That's why birds are the most evil creature in all God's kingdom. I don't believe in God or his kingdom, but their birds are bad.
Yeah,
I
just
saw
pooping everywhere.
the other day on the side of the highway, there were like 3 dead seagulls in a row, and I was like weirdly sad about it considering I don't like birds. It really upset me. I think like a semi came through and smushed them, and it was upsetting.
But I don't know what to tell you. There was roadkill on the way to work the other day. It was upsetting as well.
Did you pull over and perform a memorial service for the
No.
roadkill? You didn't?
No.
Wow. Okay. Why does this happen to me?
I don't know. It's probably just because it's really early in the morning for you.
It is. This all of my most absurd humor comes out at 6 in the morning.
But anyway, back to the show.
What show?
We cut to the gargoyles.
Right.
Yeah. So we have the young kid from last episode saying, "Oh, my friends, the gargoyles will come and help us."
He's so cute, and his mom's like, "No, they won't, because I'm racist."
She doesn't actually say that. She says, "I really hope so." And then it cuts to the Viking leader and the guard captain gloating over the mage and the princess.
Yeah, Lucius Malfoy, it turns out, I was wrong about you, Lucius. You were not involved with the betrayal.
Nope.
It was all a captain of the guard. I'm still very confused by this. But it does tell us through flashback where he's like, "I told you to leave, Goliath. I was trying to protect you and your kind."
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they're like, "Man, we're gonna kill you all, blah blah blah." And the princess is like, "You're a dead man." And then the Viking dude is like, "Maybe, but not before you are dead, not a dead man. It'd be you're a woman as far as I can tell, so it'd be weird for you won't be a dead man, but you will be dead before I am because I'm gonna kill you." And then he takes her away.
You actually skipped over one vital piece of information. It's when the mage says, "If I
Oh.
had my book of spells, this wouldn't be happening," and or something along those lines, like I could stop you with one of my spells, and the Viking just tears a page out of his spell book and
Don't
throws it
tear
in the
books.
fire.
Don't tear books, Viking. That's more evil than committing genocide on a race of sentient beings. Okay,
That's
maybe
Chekhov's
slightly
page.
less evil.
That's Chekhov's page.
Chekhov's page.
We'll come back to that.
MC, listen. Normally, I have no problem understanding your accent, but every once in a while, I get a little bit of lag right as you're saying something, and the lag and your accent combine to make me hear something different. And I thought you said that's the cheat codes page, and I was like, it is the cheat codes page. That was totally the cheat codes page. Oh, Chekhov's page. That makes a lot more sense than cheat codes page.
But yeah, the gargoyles attack, and Goliath goes after the leaders with leaving the other ones behind to rescue the people,
Right.
the hostages.
Yeah, and they start rescuing folks, the Three Stooges, and then Lucius Malfoy sees him and is like, "You jerks, she's dead because of you." And then Geezer Gargoyle's there too, and presumably the guard dog is somewhere there too. And
Yep.
he's like, "If you hadn't attacked, they would have ransomed him off, and now we're all gonna die." I don't know why that's what happened in Lucius's voice, but so then he's like, "Anyway, I turn you to stone."
Yeah,
He does a cool spell from his
he was
book
a
and turns
dick
him to
about
stone.
it.
Yeah, a little rude. It is nice that all the gargoyles, as they're turning to stone, like really get into some like cool action poses before they get transformed.
But it's like they do that every morning anyway. Maybe
That's
it's just
true.
instinctual.
Yeah, that like, I mean, because we've determined that the rocks secrete out of the pores in their skin, and then solidify into a hard carapace. So it perhaps that like the feeling of that secretion caused them to assume those poses as tradition dictates.
Yeah, and it's really weird, but when they come out of it and it all cracks and glows and stuff, do you think the coating's actually to protect them from the sun, even though when that cracks off, there's like glowing lights that come out of it? What's the actual purpose of the rock?
I assume it is a protection thing, but not necessarily from the sun. Like, I don't think that they're particularly susceptible to UV light. I think that the secretion of the rock is triggered by the UV light. So I think, like, just like vampires, the best defense against gargoyles is a big bank of UV lights, as seen in Blade 2? I haven't seen the Blade movies in years. That was a weird one for me to pull out. But I think the rock is more there to protect them from like bugs and animals, so that they don't come up and gnaw them while they sleep.
Fair enough.
And not from maces, though. It is not good protection from maces.
Oh no, because they crush really well.
You know, actually, my secretion theory must not be quite correct. My secretion and
because
carapace
they're
theory.
Stone all the way through.
Yeah, they don't have like a nougaty center when they get smashed up. So,
I mean, we didn't really concentrate on it all that much, but yeah, when he picked up the stones, it did look like dirt and like rocks.
I have a lot of questions about gargoyle physiology and about guard dog physiology and why they're the same but different. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. What we're here to talk about today is that Goliath's about to get his revenge on the captain of the guard, and then he falls off a cliff, and Goliath is like, "Whoop!" and he catches the princess, and then he's like, "Everything's been taken from me, even my revenge," which is just such a good line. But then he's like, "Oh well, at least I have my cool friends, those 4 other gargoyles and my guard dog. At least I've got them around to be something in my life, so I'm not all alone."
another point,
Mm.
the Viking leader says that the captain guard is the one who destroyed all
Yeah.
the statues.
Yeah, when chips are
he's
down,
like,
that dude's like a wuss.
yeah, and he is severely pissed off. Goliath is severely ticked off. He is angry at all of humanity. He's just been betrayed by the only person he thought he could trust. But he saved the princess.
He did save the
He's
princess.
still, yeah.
And he's got his friends. So he and the princess go back to see his friends, and oopsies.
Yeah,
Oopsies.
the mage Malfoy, as Troy's been calling him, sort of confesses that he turned them into stone because the princess died because they attacked, and then the princess steps out, and Goliath gets all up in the
Malfoy's
guy's
like,
face.
Ooh, this is awkward. Hey, princess. I definitely avenged your death, and here you are. Here you are, still alive. And Goliath's like,
It's not a problem. Just turn them back into gargoyles instead of being stone at night.
Chekhov's page.
oh, snap. Because the cheat code page got burned up, he can't turn him back. Because that's where the cheat codes were that undoes it.
Yep, pretty much. So they're stuck like that, and they decide to take him back to the Scottish castle, and Malfoy is all ashamed at his actions, and he's like, "Oh man, I did bad, but what can we do?" When they get back to the castle and they arrange everyone, Goliath tells them that the princess can take care of the eggs in the rookery. They're about to hatch soon. And then he asks the mage to cast the same spell that he cast on his friends.
Yeah,
So
he's like, cast the spell one more time. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh, that's so sad.
And this is when we have a little jump from the 10th century up to
Present
the 90s.
day? I
Yeah,
noticed they
it would be the
specifically don't
90s.
put the year on there.
No, they don't put any year. I don't even. Do they even say present day?
Nothing pops up. It fades
No.
to the castle looking cool to the castle covered in moss.
Yeah, so it's kind of ambiguous, but it's definitely by the way people are dressed and talking and like some of the cues that they have. It's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, this is the 90s.
Yeah. Listen, not everyone can wear a turtleneck under a trench coat with a pop collar, but Jonathan Frakes can in the 90s because enter David Xanatos, the Frakes himself, and his assistant Wesley. His assistant's not named Wesley, but in my mind, his assistant's name is Wesley.
No,
Owen.
it's yeah.
Also, Owen kind of talks like Snape. He's got a little bit of an Alan Rickman thing going.
Yeah, he did kind of talk like that.
But I know, it's interesting.
It was really weird. Xanatos finds this castle and he gets all excited and he runs up to the top of the tower and he uncovers Goliath and he's like, I want to buy it. And then Owen's like,
I want it.
I want it. And then Owen's like, oh, people up here a bit say it's haunted. I'm not sure they'll come up and work here. And he's like, throw money at it.
Pay a man enough and he'll walk barefoot into hell.
Damn,
Yep,
Riker.
That was the line.
I don't know if we said this, but the spell, the only way to undo the spell since the pages got burned is for the castle to rise above the clouds.
Yeah, we haven't talked about that, but that's the exact line.
So Riker buys this castle in Scotland and breaks it down piece by piece and flies it to New York City and reassembles it on top of his mansion.
Skyscraper.
his mansion, which is a skyscraper. Thank you. I definitely worded that incorrectly. That's a thing that a crazy person does. However,
Oh yeah.
here's my question. MC,
Yeah.
what is clouds?
It's water vapor in the air,
Uh-huh.
visible.
MC, what is fog?
I mean, it is exactly the same thing, just down on the ground.
So what is weather in Scotland? Like, what is the one thing about weather in Scotland that it's known
it's
for?
kind of foggy.
It's very foggy.
Yeah.
How did this spell not get broken before?
I mean, maybe
The spell
there's a distinction.
will only lift when the castle rises above the cloud.
Oh, it lifted. Never mind, the spell lifted. It's fine. They're fine.
Well,
It's done.
here's the thing. At a certain point, water vapor is touching the ground while it's still in a cloud. That's fog.
Mm-hmm.
If it's above the ground,
The castle was like up on the side of a cliff.
yeah,
Like,
I know.
way high in the air.
And I'm like, okay, but then they just put it on a skyscraper in New York and it's above the clouds.
I'm
Same
just saying.
difference. And
The spell should have been listed. Like, the spell is cast on. If the spell is cast on Thursday, it should have been lifted by Tuesday. This is a bad spell.
I mean, it does get foggy in Scotland, yes, but we don't know specifically where that castle was.
We do know it was way up high on a cliff, presumably
Yeah.
overlooking some body of water, which is where fog happens.
Yeah, pretty much, but we just don't know what happens there.
Stop defending Malfoy's bad spell. It was a bad spell, MC.
Well-
The spell, what it actually said at the bottom of the page is like, the spell will be lifted when the castle is at least 23 stories in the air. But he was like, oh, when the castle rises above the clouds. It's like, that's not what it said, Malfoy. You're just trying to sound dramatic.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Xanatos gets it to New York. It's above the clouds. All the gargoyles wake up for the first time in
Big
ages,
yawn,
and they seem
big
relieved.
Stretch.
Yeah. Glowing eyes, like
Yeah.
every day.
The
Like
glowing
every
eyes
morning.
thing reminded me a lot of the vampires in Buffy, where like they can just turn on and off Vamp-face whenever they want to,
Oh, yeah.
which I like. There's been a couple good gags with that in Buffy, where it's like normal face, Vamp-face, normal face. It's like, whoa, hey, calm your tits, Angel. Okay, I get it. You're serious about this. You really want that magic ring or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you think if do you remember the episode of Angel where there's a magic ring and it let David Boreanaz stand outside in the sunlight and be like,
Yeah.
I look just as majestic in the sunlight as I do in the dark, but I can't keep this ring.
While I'm all dark and broody, I can be in the sunlight now and dark and broody still.
Quick, find me a shadow to lurk in. Do you think that if the Gargoyles had that ring, they would stay in human form? This is assuming that the Gargoyles universe and the Angels universe are the same universe. If a Gargoyle had that ring, would they stay unstoned in the daytime? Not unless they hit the bong!
We can't put that in. We're so bad.
I marked the show explicit. I just censor things that are funny.
Yeah. But
Anyway.
essentially, all the gargoyles are shocked at what they see. They're above the clouds, and Xanatos arrives, and he's like, "Hey, I'm hoping you can help me, and I can help you."
And Goliath's like, what would we help you with? And he's like, well... And then a helicopter shows up.
Yeah, pretty much. And I believe six armed soldiers drop down.
Oh, it's gotta be
And
more than
Xana-
6. I didn't count,
Yeah,
but it's gotta be more than 6. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Did you notice, MC, what clandestine government organization these soldiers represented based on their uniforms?
No?
They're S.H.I.E.L.D. This is 100% S.H.I.E.L.D.
No.
Those are 90s era S.H.I.E.L.D. costumes. Like, hundo percent. Okay, maybe 95%, but still, they're very, very S.H.I.E.L.D.
Weird.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna send you a picture. S.H.I.E.L.D.
No,
90s
I know what you're
uniform.
talking about, but
It's showing me pictures of, let's see, we've got a hockey team. We've got, let's see, there's a football uniform.
Oh,
How is it
wait.
this hard to find a S.H.I.E.L.D. uniform? Marvel Comics S.H.I.E.L.D. uniform. Here we go. Let's just use this picture of Nick Fury as comparison. Copy image, and then go to the Discord and send the image. Look at that.
okay.
I'm gonna go tweet this as well. I'm just gonna keep tweeting random things when we're recording. I enjoy this idea. If y'all look back in time, like a month and a half, you'll see exactly what time we're recording this.
I see it. I very much see it in that photo. But essentially, these S.H.I.E.L.D. agents and the Gargoyles get mixed up, and Xanatos gets involved as well, knocking a few guns out of hands and going off to get a laser gun. But at one point, Hudson, the old grizzled guy, gets hit with a taser, essentially. And there's a funny scene of him, like, just going down on his knees, like, covered in electricity. And I'm like, oh, yeah. They really didn't have good, like, electricity animation back in the day. Did you see how janky it was?
I mean, yeah, kind of. I thought it looked okay. I was more worried about Geezer Gargoyle. I wasn't concerned about how good the electricity looks. I was worried about him.
No, I wasn't worried about him. He's a tough old man. But it's like that purple, like... Oh, have you seen Masters of the Universe? The one with Dolph Lundgren?
I have not.
Oh, there's a scene where he does the I've got the power, and it's, like, really bad, purple, electricity as well. It just reminds me of that.
Huh. Yeah,
That movie is great for being so bad.
I think in cartoon form, I've never really had an issue with electricity, but I definitely have in live action stuff. It looks real bad in this era.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're just drawing a cartoon on top of the live action stuff.
Oh, yeah. But one of the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents pulls a grenade and throws it at him, and the small green guy picks it up, and he's just like, I wonder what that is, and then just throws it over his shoulder, and it explodes.
And it explodes real good. This is a great part. My favorite part with the little green one is there's a part where he's fighting one of the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, and he goes, "Are you a Viking?" And he sounds so innocent and adorable when he says it. It makes me really happy. One of the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, after all the kerfuffle, as all the kerfuffle happens, rubble starts falling down, and then we catch up with the opening of the first episode with the detective driving up in her cool red Cadillac.
Eliza Maza.
And then one of the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents is running with a briefcase, and he's like, "I got it!" And they shoot a flare off, and a helicopter comes and picks him up, and then Riker's like, "Not today, dirtbags!" But then they ninja star his gun out of his hand, and they fly away.
Yeah, that was really weird, the ninja starring of the gun
Right?
out of the hand.
That was a very good ninja star throw, S.H.I.E.L.D. agent. I was very impressed by that ninja star throw. Who could it be? It's Bullseye was recruited into S.H.I.E.L.D., and he's the one who threw that ninja star. Because all universes are the same universe. This is the Marvel Comics universe. It's also the Angelverse. It's also the Batman verse. God, Batman would love the Gargoyles. He would like bro down so hard with Goliath.
Yeah.
Oh,
They've got that whole brooding thing as well.
Oh, it'd be so good. He'd be like, "Nice wings," and Goliath would be like, "Nice cape."
But yeah, Goliath gets blown off the building at the end of the fight. One of the best scenes is as Detective Mars is showing up, there's like claw marks on one of the stones, and I was like, oh, how do they get there? They answer that in this fight. Goliath is like falling off the building after this explosion, and he gets dragged down it, and it was like, oh, okay, that's where the claw marks have come from the other episode, and then they show it again in this episode.
Yeah, that is cool that they tied that back together. So then at the very end of the episode, basically Riker's like, hey y'all, thank you for helping me defend my castle. I really appreciate it. And Goliath is like, yo dog, this is our castle. No matter where it is, it's our home, and it's all we got left. So we will defend this castle,
but we will never trust humans again.
And Riker's like, well, maybe we can work on that.
Yeah.
And then they call the helicopter a dragon, which I thought was really cute. And Donatello Gargoyle was like, that's not a dragon. It's some sort of a flying machine contraption. And then somebody asked the detective, what do you think that was about? And she's like, I don't know, but I'm going to figure it out. And that like lays the groundwork for everything that's going to happen. Like, we're going to defend the castle, but we're not going to defend humans. And Riker wants to make us trust humans. And the little one's going to get into machines. And the detective's going to investigate. The end of the Gargoyles episode 2. It's weird that this is a 5-part episode, because these 2 episodes totally felt like a 2-part episode. It felt like, okay, now we're ready to start the show.
And it felt like a bookend to the start of that story.
Right, yeah, because episode 1 starts in modern day with her driving up, and then we flash back, and then this episode catches up to that, so it's like, okay, we're done, we've bookended, except we haven't yet.
No.
There's more.
And we'll be talking about that next week when we watch Awakening Part 3.
Yeah. That's the one.
Yeah.
And then music.
Thanks for listening to the best animated shows ever so far. Find the show on Twitter at BaseSFcast or email us at basesfcast@gmail.com. That's BASESFCAST. Our intro music is Funnin' and Sunnin', and our outro music is Motivator, both by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com, and licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 license. Thanks again for listening, and tune in next time.
This has been a presentation
of the We Can Make This Work
Probably Network.
Follow us on Twitter
at Probably Work
for more of our questionable content.
Also, we have a website called probablywork.com.